So we're back to talking about TV shows. Yeah, I know it's been a while, but don't worry. We have somehow returned. We just had to shift gears for a bit, but now we're back and we're going to talk about Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, the 1980 revival. Yeah, remember the other Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo? It ended and we talked about it, right? So we shouldn't bring it up again.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
It ended after a season and then they revived it. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, you all know how it goes. I will talk about the characters, then talk about the show overall. Let's get to it. First off, we have Shaggy. He takes over leadership from Fred, who is completely absent from the show. Fred, Daphne, and Velma are not in the show at all. Shaggy runs a detective agency and works with Scooby and Scrappy. He also frequents high school. Or is it college? Hard to say. It's been barely defined. I like to think of it as college. Anyway, he still maintains the cowardly act and often doesn't like to get involved in the detective cases that he is presented with. It's kind of weird that you started a detective agency, isn't it, pal? I don't know if you have any idea how any of this actually works, but okay, as long as you keep getting the job done. He doesn't have much growth in the show, we just see more of his personal life explored, but he remains pretty much the same despite being in a new position in the franchise. Ah, Scooby-Doo. Everybody's favorite Great Dane. He's also pretty much the same as before. He's got his weird R thing that's hard to pinpoint. He's still the scaredy dog that he always was and works with Shaggy in the detective agency. Even though he's always scared, he still takes care of young Scrappy and always finds a way to get him out of situations, which is mostly running back, carrying him off, and running away when he tries to pick a fight with the villains. Dude, you're a dog. More than that, you're a Great Dane. What the heck is wrong with you? Anyway, if it wasn't clear enough before, it should be by now that Shaggy owns Scooby. I mentioned it before, but this show cemented it. Next up, Scrappy-Doo. He's still the new character that overshadowed the others so much that even taking into consideration the behind-the-scenes issues, they still wouldn't have added much to the story because he is in it. He is Scooby's nephew, and we get to see how. There's an episode that shows us the day he was born. He was born to a Great Dane called Ruby-Doo. She is Scooby's sister. Why he got his mother's name is a mystery to me too, but anyway, we take what we can get. He's the tough guy who is always ready for a scrap. Like in the previous show. He has abnormal strength for a puppy and idolizes his uncle Scooby. There are segments when he goes to stay with his uncle Yabba-Doo in a small southern town. Number 4. Yabba-Doo. He's a white Great Dane and Scooby's brother. Okay, so we have 3 in Scooby's generation so far. Scooby-Dee and Scooby-Dum are his cousins. Yabba-Doo is a bit different from Scooby. He's brave and resourceful in a more proactive way rather than accidental and comedic like Scooby. However, his resourcefulness and proactivity usually go wrong and he has to find a way around it with Scrappy and his deputy Dusty. That's right. Yabba is a sheriff and Dusty, a human, is his deputy. Why? How? Don't ask. These are talking dogs, bro. Don't question the grand design. In case you were wondering, yes, it does sound familiar when you say Yabba-Doo. It's a kind of spoof or homage to Yabba Dabba Doo, which is said by Fred Flintstone. They're both distributed by Hanna-Barbera, so it's fine. Yabba isn't afraid of anything or anyone and always takes up the challenge that he's faced with. The thing is, he's usually bailing his deputy out of situations that are a bit rough, and that's where the main adventure lies. And finally, we have Deputy Dusty. He is a human, and I think he owns Yabba-Doo. I'm not sure about that. He's a delicate guy, shy, simple, and kind of docile. He's the Shaggy of the group. The thing about him is that he's always getting himself into trouble that should be Yabba's. It's funny that way. Yabba is always trying to get him to stand up for himself and be a strong man, but he always cowers. He gets the credit in the end because, in a weird way, he still would get the job done, although a lot of the time it would be with Yabba and Scrappy's help. He's still a nice guy in the end. Now let's get to talking about the show, shall we? The show is a sequel or maybe a spin off of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? A show we already talked about a few months ago. That show made a lot of our childhoods. It may just be one of the longest running singular continuities in Western animation, but nobody is going to take notice of that. Even though it shares continuity with that show, this show is very different. Instead of focusing on horror tropes or horror elements and deep mysteries, it sort of became a slight parody of itself. It started to take it easy on the serious storytelling of Scooby Doo shows. Where Are You had pretty serious and dark things. The Scooby Doo show had more of an adventurous thing going on. The first Scooby and Scrappy had even more of an adventurous thing but still tried to keep some horror. This show did away completely with the horror aspect. It was just the life and times of Scooby and friends. Seriously, we saw Shaggy's high school or college life. I still don't know what that was. We saw him take girls out on dates. Yeah, Shaggy has what it takes to pull in that mysterious opposite gender. And boy, did he. He managed to pull one and got Scooby a date with another at the same time. A dog got lucky, yo. Don't question it. Just accept the fact that a dog scored. I remain on my theory that Shaggy and Scooby have some sort of reality altering power. Seriously, they cannot keep getting away with this. But then you can imagine, with Shaggy's height and his shoe size, what's it like when the action starts? The show didn't really add anything new to the characters or the universe apart from content and I guess new characters like Yabba and Dusty. It's okay, I guess. The thing is, we never see Yabba hang out with Scooby or even why Scrappy was with Yabba. We can only assume that Scooby and Scrappy parted ways. Why? Well, it beats me. I have no idea. And I actually try to look into that. These shows were never meant to be taken seriously anyway. What can be taken seriously, though, is the impact they had on our childhood. I remember that there was a show when Scooby and Shaggy were alone with Scrappy. I also remember a show where it was Shaggy and Daphne with Scooby and Scrappy. These are things that I only have very vague memories of. I thought that it would be this one with Daphne, but I was wrong. I did not remember Yabba-Doo at all. Perhaps I didn't watch his episodes as a kid. In fact, none of the episodes in this show seemed familiar to me at all. Well, it's always good to discover something you didn't watch as a child, right? There was no story. There was nothing really to follow. It was just the adventures of Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. I can't even critique it because the voice performance is good as always and the animation budget only went slightly down. Or at least the quality did. It wasn't a heinous dip like Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space. Seriously, that show feels like it was a money laundering scheme. Anyway, I really enjoyed the show for the few things it did bring. Rather than people in costumes, this time the gang faced off against actual aliens, actual monsters, actual witches, actual werewolves. The only problem is the lack of weight here. There was no weight and no consequence. Dude, they even traveled to the future in one episode. This show strayed very far from the usual grounded take on the franchise. I guess it's alright, but the way it was implemented was just off. I guess we couldn't have it all in a child's cartoon anyway, right? Oh well. I don't hate it, but I could have liked it more had there been a point to the show. It looks like it was just Scooby Doo content for the sake of there being something out there. It had no direction, no proper vision, no point to it at all. I can't even pinpoint a favorite episode or choose a favorite character. It really is just bland television. Sorry, Hanna-Barbera. You guys missed with this one. I'm going to start the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show next week. Hopefully, it's better than this. It was around the time they made Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space. Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Yeah, you guys better do a much better job at burying that show, or else I'll get my friend Coop to do it. And he loves to overdo things. Coop? Dang, man, I didn't expect you to go that far. Anyway, check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and the rest of our channel here for other cool content. Have a good day.